Hi.
Hi, are you sure you can prepare for product based companies through this course?
Yes, sitting at home?
No way!
Yes, way. Don't delay. Enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hey geeks, Akshay Bhaskar this side. Welcome to another session of DSA live mock interview series. And today, the student who has volunteered to go through the interview process, his name is Chirag Soni. And the person who will be interviewing him, he's our in-house mentor, Pritish. But before that, before I tell you more and before I invite them, please, can I see some comments, some highs and hellos? I will always, like having a conversation. So I'm just waiting for some highs and hellos, and let me tell you more. Till then, let me tell you more about Chirag's college also. So yeah, so Chirag is doing his computer engineering, and he is in his fourth year. He is currently pursuing it in at Bose University of Science and Technology, YMCA, Faridabad. So yeah, and Pritish, as I said, is an in-house mentor at GeeksforGeeks. So it will be an interesting session, particularly focused on DSA. And I can see some comments. Hi, Ujjwal. Hi, Ankit. Yeah, hi, Srinidhi. Hi, Neha. Hi, Saurav. Hi. Keep the session engaging. Kindly, discuss answers with each other so that, maza hai. It's good. Yeah. Like the person, the candidate would be solving, but you guys also solve at your home and you can discuss in the comments. Hi Harsha, hi Harshita. Okay, great. Hi Shubham. Great. Let's start the session and let me invite Chirag and Pritish and let's begin. Hey Chirag, hey Pritish.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, good afternoon. So Pritish, you can take the lead from here. I'll be asking the question in the panel. And Chirag,
Okay.
take it easy and good luck.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hey Chirag, what's up?
Hello, sir.
So can you please give me a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure,
Just a
sir.
short introduction. Yeah.
Okay, like my name is Chirag. I'm pursuing my degree of bachelor's in computer engineering from YMCA University, and in my final year right now. Um, uh, till this semester, I'm having 8.3 CGPA. And talking about the skills I have, I do machine learning, deep learning, DSL goes. And in the same field of machine learning and AI, I have done an internship with the Shashwat Foundation. So basically, they were working on a scheme from the Intel, which is responsible AI for everyone. And in that, the student ranging from the standard 10th to 12th have some project under that scheme, and I was mentoring them on their projects. And talking about the extracurricular, in the free time, I just read the astronomical stuffs and play chess.
Oh, great man. So you're a chess player.
Yeah,
Nice.
federated.
Great man. So I just saw you have built all your projects on AI and ML. So you have like great interest there.
Yes.
So just tell me about any of your project, like what you implemented, how you learned, and what were like issues you faced during building your project.
Okay, so talking about the first project I have made, which is under the guidance of Trilok sir, they were mentoring me. So that project name was Mr. Psychiatrist, so psychologist basically. So what it says that like given any like it's a basic project first of all. So given any image, it will find the facial emotions in that. So there are 5 classes in that, like happy, sad, angry, disgust. So in that way, like it will like first of all detect the face in that, and after that it will predict the emotions the face is having.
Oh, that's great. So like how you get into this field like AI, like what excites you about learning about these things?
Um, okay, basically what machine learning does, like it basically improves our efficiency and makes the like, very complex tasks very easy, right? If we talk about
Okay.
the very complex algorithm like the neural networks, so
Yeah.
that's why like it seems good to me.
Great man. You have built like 4 projects. That's great. And you have
Yes.
also great academic record.
Yeah.
So can you just tell me something about this project? You have mentioned about image captioning.
Okay, so talking about the image captioning, so this was under the like minor project in my third year. So what it does, it just takes image as an input and will predict the corresponding captions to that. Like if there is a dog in the scenery, so it will predict like the dog is running on the grass or dog is playing with the boy, like that.
Okay, so it's detecting from the image and giving you the output based on what's present in the image.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's Great. So what technologies you actually use to build this project?
Okay, so to build this project, I have used RNN structure, CNN, decoder, encoder, and the NLP algorithms.
Okay, great, man. So this is it for the project. So let's move to the DSA part. So I'll be
Sure.
asking you 2 to 3 questions. So let's start. So you can share your screen, like I'll share your doc link. So I'll share you the question and you have to tell me your approach. Like start from the basics, what you think, the first idea you can think of that problem, and then we'll move on to the optimizing that problem, and after that we'll be increasing the difficulty of the problem. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir.
Yeah. So please share your screen.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. So let's start. So I'll be giving you the first question. So yeah, just a minute. Let me just increase size a little bit so it's visible. Yeah. So I guess it's visible to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me just walk you through the problem. So what actually problem says is you have to return an index of the array. So basically what you are going to do is you are going to divide the array into 2 parts. Okay. So now you have to return that index from where you are going to divide the array. Now how you are going to divide? You are going to divide it in such a way that all the elements in the left part, that is from the point you are dividing, so all the elements to the left of that point should be smaller than all the elements on the right side.
Okay.
Okay, so you got it. So let me just give you an example so that you can better understand this. Okay, so let's say we have an array of elements 5, 6, 0, 8, 9. So these are basically the elements of the array. Now what you can say, you can think is, you can see that after this 0, we have, if we divide from this point, okay, if I am dividing at this point, you can see all the elements in the left, which are 5, 6 and 0, are smaller than all the elements in the right, which are 8, 9. So you
Okay.
have to basically give me this index, which is going to be this index value from where you are going to divide.
Okay, sir. I got
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So talking about the very naive approach, I will prefer. So for every index of like, suppose I'm iterating this array and I'm having
Okay.
variable I for the iteration, and for every like for every element array of I will check whether the left part is smaller than the. Okay, I have to find all the elements which should be lesser than the right part. Okay.
Yeah.
Like for every index, I have to find.
Like you have an index, and on
Okay.
that index, all the elements on the left should be small.
So in my approach one, what I said, like I'm having an index I.
Yeah.
Right. So from that I will like traverse the right array, and will find whether the all the elements in that right array are lesser than that index element. So suppose I'm at 5, so I check whether this array 6089 is less than the 5. Sorry, it's greater.
Okay.
It should be greater, I think. Yes. So 6 is greater, no issue, but 0 is not greater, right? So I will break it here and will increment my counter to the next point, and again from the 6
Okay.
I will check whether all the elements to the right are greater, and if they are greater I will check on the left.
Okay. So,
Yes.
like one thing I want to add is, like, do you really need to check the left part again? Like you are saying that if you are at a correct index, you will first traverse to the right of that part and check whether all the elements on the right is greater than that element or not. And if you are
Yes.
able to find all the greater elements, then you are going to traverse left again. This is what
Yes,
you
sir.
were saying, right? So like is it really necessary to traverse on the left part again?
Yes, sir, I think so, because 560, right? So because I am at 5, so my breaking condition occurs here at the index 2, right? So
Yeah.
um, okay, if all the elements are greater, I don't have to traverse the left. Suppose I'm at 6. Suppose I'm at 0 and all the elements are greater than the 0, right? And,
Yeah.
and how will I get to 0? I will get to 0 only if the element to the right, if some of them are smaller than the element. That says that my previous one is containing the smaller element. Yes, sir. I don't like. I think so. Like there is no need to traverse the left arrow.
Yeah. What I want to say is like if you have find the answer on the previous index, then you have breakout from that part only. Okay. So you
Yes.
don't need to traverse on the left again. So yeah, your brute force is right. But suppose I increase the size of the array. Now this the approach. So first of all, tell me what's the time complexity for your
Yeah.
approach?
It has a time complexity of n square.
Yeah, so it's n square basically. Okay, so this will not work if I have like a large value of the size of the array. Okay, so let's say my size of the array now is till 10 to the power 5. Now I want you to write the same code. So if you can think of a better approach, if optimized approach.
Okay, sir. Okay, all the element at the right, right? Can I use merge technique here? At this index, I will find whether all the elements. No, I can't. Greater than the element, right?
Yeah, just try to think like what actually you need to optimize. Like you have to search for all the
Yes,
elements which are
like
greater.
yes, I need to optimize the part where I'm finding whether the like rightmost array has having elements greater than.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, for that, like I can maintain somewhat like a tree array. So what it says that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So
Yeah.
right, I'm at 9. So I see that like after 9, I'm having like for the 9 it is 2, right? Okay. So when when I'm at this index 4, I see that like the previous element value is true and previous element is greater than this 8. So I will again like put true here, and for 0 I again see that like the 8 is greater than the index and its corresponding value is true also, right? So I again put a true here because like all the elements to the right of it is greater. And at the 6 I see that like 0 is less than, so here I'm having false, and again here false. So yeah, so again if
Okay.
I like want to optimize it, I will traverse the array again and I will use this array to get the elements like whether they are greater than that index or not.
Okay, so you are basically trying to check whether the element on the right of this current index is greater or not. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that's what you meant. Okay,
Yes.
so if I say like if I change my my input array, so let's add one thing more, one element more. So let's say now my input array is this 879. So if you can try run again your approach on this array.
Sure. So for 9 it should be true, and for 7 it should be true again because 9 is greater than 7. Okay. If coming to 8,
Okay. So okay, just a minute. Instead of
got
7, now let's add some greater value. So let's say I add element 15 here. Now just again try to run your approach.
I got the problem. Got it.
Yeah.
So
So
again
you
for the
you are
8,
only looking on the next on the like the very next element, not actually all the elements on that right part.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So for 9 it's true, for 15 it is false, right? But for 8 it is true, right? So I have to figure out how to do this. Okay. 8. Okay, for 8, I have to find the first drew and have to check its corresponding value. But again, it's of n square. I can't do that.
Like you are going in the right direction, like the idea of maintaining an extra array to keep track of things. Like just try to think a little more, try to think what can be the problem for this solution and what else you need to add. So just
Okay.
go in this direction, you are going in right direction, so just try to think what else you can add. Yeah.
Okay, till 15. Okay, it's not true. So for 15, I'm not having any greater value. And okay, can I maintain a stack here? Um,
uh, Try.
like, like for the 9, it is true always for the last element. And for the 15, I see that like
Okay.
there is some element in the stack, right? So if I go to this index 5, I see that my stack is not empty and my element is lesser than the index value, right? So in that case, I have to false. It should be false here for the 15. So 15th right is having false, right? Okay. Now talking about the 8, right? So I am at the 8 right now. I see that my stack top is false, and but its value is like greater than the 8.
Yes.
So there may be the possibility that the elements after 8 is like it's following the order of increaseness.
No, no, there is that. Yeah, like again, there is a possibility, but not sure. Like what you are saying, like you are going to check the top of the stack. Is that what you are saying? Like if
Yes.
it is, so let's say after 15, I have an element 3. So if like I add after 15, 3, now your stack approach, now tell me whether your stack approach will like result in the actual answer or not.
Okay, sir. Let me try run on it. So suppose I'm having 3. So for 3 it's giving true, right? For 15 it's giving false. So when I encountered the 8, it says that stack top is like greater than 8, but it's false. Like for 15 it's false, but for the 8s I'm having 15. So what I will do? Okay, what if there existing much greater element after this 8? What if it's 20?
Okay, so let me give you a small hint. Okay, do you like have to really check for all the elements on the right to get the answer whether the current index is smaller than all the elements possible on the right direction?
No, sir.
Do you really have to, like what can you do in order to confirm whether my current element is smaller than all the elements to the right of it? What else you can do?
Okay. Can I maintain a priority queue here? Like, so priority queue will say that will give the like top element which is like greater. So when I'm having 3, so my priority queue will contain 3. So suppose it is a
Okay,
max, right?
okay,
So when I encountered 15, so it should be having values 15 and 3.
yes,
Okay, I have to maintain a min heap here, not max heap.
okay.
So when I'm at 8, I see that the priority queue stop is lesser than the uh, it is lesser than the 8. But what about the last index?
Just
15.
just not try to get into this priority queue. So obviously this is not that much difficult where you'll require a priority queue. Just try to like create an array to keep record of things. Okay, so just try to think in that direction. If I give you an extra array to maintain something in that array, so with the element, like with the record you are keeping track in the array, with that thing can you like actually solve this problem?
Okay, sir. Just give me a moment. 3, 3, 450. 15, maintain a maximum and a minimum element in that. Where it's a pause. Can I do one thing like in the like same previous approach while I was maintaining true and false, right? I will maintain a maximum and the minimum value in that array. So suppose I'm at the 3, so my maximum and minimum both are 3, and for 3 it's true, right? So for the
Okay.
15, like I will here minimum is 3 and maximum is 3 here. So when I reach 15, I will see that both the maximum and minimum. Okay, I don't have to check for the maximum. I have to just check the minimum, right? Yes, I have to check the minimum only. So my minimum element is okay. If the minimum element is greater than the index, then I will return true for it. Like I will put true for it, and else I will put false, right? So for the 15, it is false because my minimum is lesser than the 15.
Okay.
Okay, so and I will now update my minimum. Okay, my update minimum will be 3 again, right? So for the 18, my minimum again is less than the 8, so I will again put false here.
Okay.
Okay, so when I reach 0, I see that minimum is again 3, but minimum is greater than the 0, so it should be true here.
Okay. So, like you are going in right direction, but there is still some problem. Let's say instead of this 15, I have 4 here. Now the approach you told me, so according to that, at first point your minimum and maximum are going to be 3. Okay. But then again, when you like just get index previous of that, at that point of time your 4 is greater than 3, so the maximum will change to like 4.
Yes, but
Okay.
I am not actually looking for the maximum.
Okay, so you are keeping track of the minimum of
Yes,
the right part.
yes, sir.
Okay. So, like, what if I have a like according to your approach, like you are just checking for the current element, like whether my current element is like less than the minimum from the right side. Okay, this is what you are keeping track of.
Yes,
Okay, but there can be a situation like say in the starting of my array, I have an element which is greater than like which has some higher value. Now, according to your approach, your answer will return true if at any point of time I am finding an element which is less than the minimum on the right part. Okay,
yes,
so let me just give you a test case to make you like this. So let's say I have an array of 7, and then say I have 4, and then I have 3, and then I have 5. So in this, if you can see, like at like from you have 5 at first minimum. Okay, and then when you are moving backwards, so you will find 3. Now you will compare 3 with the minimum on the right, so your 3 is less than 5. So according to your approach, my answer would be at this point of time.
yes.
But if you see, your array also contain a values which are greater than 3 as well. So I have 7 and 4 in the array present at the starting of the index.
Mhm.
So at that point of time, this solution will fail,
Okay, sir. But
right?
for that, yes, sir, I am maintaining an array for the left, like for the right part. In the same way, I will maintain an array for the left part also, in which I will
Yes,
compare with the
absolutely.
minimum.
Yeah. You got it right now. So
Yes.
yeah, so just like give me like what you are going to store in the array which you are going to fill from the left side.
Okay, like I can make it of Boolean also. Uh,
Okay. So what but actually you are going to store in Boolean, like how you are going to say which value is going to be true or false.
okay, okay. In the same way, like when I am finding the minimum, I will, and if that minimum is greater than the element, in that case, I will push that like make the element true, and else I will make
Okay.
it false.
Okay. Okay. So okay, so like instead of boolean, like you with boolean you can only keep track of like a false or true statement.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
like you
Is
like you got this point, you have to maintain two arrays from left and right. Right. Now one more thing, what like you can do is you don't have to check the whole right part to get whether the current element is the minimum like is smaller than all the elements on the right part. Okay, so you can just keep track of the maximum from the right part, or sorry, from the minimum from the right part and maximum from the left part.
Left part.
See, when you have to check, like what I want to say is, when you want to check for the element which is smaller than all from the right, so what you can do is, you can check whether from the minimum, like whatever the minimum is of the right part is smaller than the current element. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
like what I like, let me just give you some example. So let's just
Like,
modify this a little bit. Let's get back to the original point. So what we are going to store in the left part is, we are going to store the maximum till now. Okay. So let's say at first index the maximum is 5. So I'm gonna store 5 here. Okay. And then I got 6. So at this point of index my maximum is 6. Okay. And then I found what is the maximum value, like between 6 and 0, it's obviously 6. So in this way I'm going to store all the maximum in an array. Now in the right part, what can I do is, I can store the minimum from the end. Why? Let's say you are at current index this. Now if you want to check whether all the elements on the right are less or not, you can find the minimum of those values. Okay. If the minimum of this value, all these numbers are greater than this current maximum, then obviously you have find the answer. You
yes.
got my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what I can say here is, the maximum, like you can find the minimum from the right part. So for now the minimum is 9. Okay. Then you move forward, you find the minimum value is 8 now. Again you find, like for now the minimum is 0. Okay, so you found out the minimum value is 0, and now again you found out, like for now the minimum value is 0, and the minimum value is 0 here again. Okay. So now what you have to check is, like you can just compare those arrays. Okay. See, at this point of time my maximum value is 5, and till this point of time, which will be, if this is my left part, so obviously all this is going to be my right part. So if I can check whether my maximum is less than my minimum from the right part, then I have found my answer.
Yes, sir.
Got my point? So actually,
Yes.
you were going in the right direction. You decoded it right. Like you have to keep track of the maximum and minimum. But one thing you have to do is, instead of keeping a Boolean array, you can use those arrays to store the maximum and minimum value. Okay, in order to find that part. Okay, so I guess like you did it well. So let's move on to the next problem. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I guess you must be able to code it now. It's an easy problem.
Yes, yes.
So okay, so I'll share you the next problem. So this is the next problem. Okay, so let me just increase the size a little bit. Yeah. So I guess it's visible to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like what this problem says is, you will be having a string. Okay. So the string can be anything, like it can contains lowercase letters. And what you have to do is, you have to return an array of the partitioned strings such that every substring is palindrome. So let me just give you an example to make it better understand you. So let's say I am having a string, say A, and B, C, B, E, F. So say this is my string. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to return all the possible partitions of this string such that the resulted partitions result in palindrome. So you know about palindrome, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what palindromes are. So what we can do is, like, see how I can partition it. So we can do it. Let's say, see, this part you can see is a palindrome, AA. If I just observe these two, this string only, you can see AA is a palindrome, right? So what you have to do is, you have to return me an array, and the array will contain, let's say, the first element as AA. Now look for what other palindromes you can find. So you can see BCB is one of the palindrome.
Yes, sir.
You can see, so in the second element you will be having BCB. Now from the EF you can see only E and F. If I like you know a single element is always a palindrome, right? So here E and F separately will be considered as palindrome. So like if I divide this string in such a way, then you can see all the substrings I am getting are palindrome, right?
Okay.
And like this can be one possible solution, and like I want all the possible solutions. So if you carefully observe, what can other possible solution be? So I just told you like a single element is obviously a palindrome of itself. So other solution can be to take only one element at a time while dividing the array.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you have to like return an array in such a way that I have partitioned my string so that every substring is a palindrome. So you got the problem, or like if you have any
Yes,
doubt?
sir. Yes, sir. I've got it.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, I have to like return these two parts in separate vectors.
Like let's say you have a 2D array, and in that array the first element like is going to be another array. So that is the first that part I have shown, and the second one is the second element of that array.
Okay, sir. Okay, so I have to partition this string in such a way that all the elements in the subparts are palindrome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so basically, like if I'm going to partition it, I have to like check whether this part, like suppose I am partitioning it from here. Let me copy it.
Yeah.
Suppose I am partitioning it from here, and what I have to check, I have to check whether this part is palindromic or not. If it is not palindromic, I will like move my partition counter to the right, and if it is palindrome, what I will do, just store this result and we'll check for the other parts,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, so for every like element I have to check somewhat like whether it is a palindrome or not. So that would definitely adds to time complexity, like if we try to code. So for that,
Yeah.
first of all, I will find all the palindromic substrings in this array. So for that, I will maintain a 2D vector.
Okay.
Suppose it's having a b, c, d, e, and f, and at the top I'm having this, right? So what this says that like for every like says that dp of ij. So dp of ij says that whether the string substring from the I to j is palindromic or not. So
Okay.
this is the part where I will be finding the palindromicity, right? So it will be of like its upper part will be filled, like the lower part will be zero, because right. So that one I can do. So for checking all the partitions, what I will do, I will just make a function. Okay, what I have
Okay.
to what I have to put in there. Okay, this is okay. So I will check for all the partitions I can have. Suppose I can have a partition from one index. Suppose here I can have a partition from this from index one onwards. Correct.
Okay.
So I know that like a single element is always palindrome. So I will like traverse for the right part of it, and will okay, whether I can have a partition one. Okay, suppose I'm having here ln right pointers here.
Okay.
So I will check like using a loop. It should be starting from L going till the should be less than R. Okay. So here I will like partition the element from like left till I.
Okay.
Again I will partition it from. Okay, I have to find the. Okay, so basically it says that like I'm having a partition at ith index. So I have checked for all the elements after I plus 1 till R. Okay. It should be in a for loop, right?
Okay.
Okay, so and when I'm getting any partition, right? So okay, I have to check. Okay, I have to store the results also.
Yeah.
Since that I'm having a partition here. So my left part should be a palindrome, right? Only then I will partition it. Correct.
Like
So
if you are dividing it, if you are partitioning it, then every substring should be a palindrome. It should not
palindrome,
be
yes,
like, yeah.
yes, sir. So that's why I'm like having a if condition here.
Okay,
So
okay.
if my like I'm having a palindrome from left till I, only then I will partition it from here.
Okay.
Correct. And if it is not palindrome, in that case, what I have to do? And if it is not palindrome, I will move forward. Yes, I will move forward in that case.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to store the results also. Okay. My left and right.
Okay, like instead of storing, just print the result. Like whenever you are finding all the partitions of the current string, just print that possibility instead of storing it.
Okay, sir. So I'm starting from this point. Let's say I'm having initially as 0 and minus 1 here. So if the part from L to I is palindrome, I will suppose print it out here. Print from L till I. Okay. I'm printing from L till I, and then I am going for the another one. Okay, so I have to like divide those partitions also. Like after this partition, this is my second partition. Okay, so for
Okay.
that I have to like put a new line in the base condition here. Okay, so in the base condition, what it should be? It should be like when my left is reaching the end, or yes, yes, my left should reach the end. My left should reach the end. Or it should not be. Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
In the base condition, I have to
So
divide it.
like, but okay, okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying that like in the base condition, I have to like state whether like I have to like increase the counter for the new partition. So
Okay.
when it would be when my left is reaching the end. Is it true?
Okay, so you mean like if left has reached the end, that means like you have completely scanned all the string. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that at that point of time, what actually you are going to do?
I will just print a new line so that like my answers are distinguished for the previous partition array.
Okay, okay, okay. So like what you are doing is you are checking for whether your left pointer this string is palindrome or not. If it is palindrome, you are printing it, and then you are checking for the right part.
Yes.
Okay. So there can be one issue with this problem, like you're only like you are saying for the right part. Like there can be an issue. Your left part is palindrome, but at the end, when you reach your right part, that turns out to be a string which is not a palindrome. So in that case, if you have printed your left part earlier, so that partition can not be made right now. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you got what I want to say.
Yes, 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 I got it. Suppose like for this example, suppose it is palindromic from here, and
Yeah.
like okay, it is palindromic from here, and from this point onwards, like I'm
Yeah.
having these partitioned array. Okay, it will print the result of E and F, correct? But when it came to E and F, my this part has been already printed. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So like you are saying, like E and F should be printed separately. But say I am
Yes,
checking for EF together. Okay,
yes, yes.
there can be a
In that
possibility.
case, yes, this is
Yeah, in
printed.
that case you have printed your previous partition, but now you are not able to find a partition. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, like if it is like I have to store the element in the vector, 2D vector, then it's okay. Like I won't be having
Yeah,
trouble
you
then.
can do it. Yes, yes. You can temporarily store it in a vector, And if you find your last part of the string to be a palindrome, then you can print it. Yeah, you got it right. Yes.
Okay, but the problem here is like I'm printing this. Okay.
Yeah, you are printing immediately. That's what the problem is. Like you have to be sure till the end of string you have find the exact partition.
Okay. So for that, I will maintain a string, string or a vector.
Okay.
But again, like I have to maintain a vector then.
Okay, no issue.
Okay. In the base condition, when I am reaching, so if it's a palindromic, like left to right is a palindrome. Okay. If it is a palindrome, only then I will print that vector.
Okay.
Okay. Like suppose instead of this, like instead of printing here, I'm storing in the result in a vector of string. Like, so, oh, sorry, it should be of like in the parameters. Okay, suppose I'm having a vector here. Okay. Okay, so here I will push the element here, vector dot, push back my result, which is palindromic. It is palindromic from L to I, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so it should substring from L to I, and I have to pass this vector in the parameters also. Correct, and yes, this partition from L to I. Right.
Yeah.
Should I have to like check for the left one? I don't think so.
Nah,
Like I have to
what
check only
exactly?
for, like I don't have to check for the
Yes.
left one because, yes.
Like you were checking for the left already. Now you have to check for the right part. Like if I am at the current index, then I know that till this index my partition is a palindrome. Now I have to check from this index onwards what can be the
Yes,
possible
yes,
palindrome
yes,
substring.
and yes, sir. At the end, like when in the base condition, I'm having a palindrome from L to R. So in that
Yeah.
case, I will just print the vector.
Yeah. Okay. So like what actually your base condition will be?
So base condition would be if it is a palindrome from L to R. So if palindrome from L to R.
Okay, so from L to R, this is going to be your base condition, okay? And at that point of time, you are going to print V. So, like, okay, so if say I have like while you are checking for the right part, you are again like you are maintaining the last thing, like the R is going to be the last index of this string.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you are checking whether the last part is a palindrome or not, and if it's a palindrome, then you are going to print the answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That like this is okay to me. Like this is great. Like you are checking for that. Okay, and like one more thing, can you just like show me what you have done in the last part of your solution? Like you wrote two things. This okay, so you are saying okay, so you have commented that out. So you are what actually this does, partition I plus one RV, this function call.
Okay, this is the same function, partition.
Yeah, you got it right. So yeah, basically that so you are using recursion here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's like MCM type of question.
So you are basically checking for all the possible strings, and then if you are finding, you are returning it. Okay.
Yeah.
So great, that's great. So let's add a little extension to this problem. So instead of printing this, I just want you to find what is the number of minimum cuts possible, like minimum number of partitions in which I can get my like array of strings which are the palindromic substring. So if we just go through this only, this let me write it again. So if we just go with this, so in this you can see if I divide my like with the previous question what we were doing, we were printing the all possibility. Now I want the minimum number of partitions. So one partition can be at this point, other partition can be at this point, and the third partition can be at this point. So in this you can see that only 3 times I have to divide, like I have to partition the string, right? So like there can be another possibility if I just take one character at a time, but that's gonna result in a lot of partitions.
Yes.
So I just want to know what is the minimum number of partitions I have to do in order to get like this thing, the substring of
Okay, sir.
palindrome.
Yes, sir, I got it. So in the same function where we are like finding all the partitioned array, so I just have to modify this. So in the function parameter, I have to pass like the number of partitions till now. It should
Okay.
be number of partition. Okay, and I will just maintain a global. Yes. Okay, I will maintain a global vector. So in which I will be storing the result, right? So
Okay.
when it should be updated, it should be updated only when my number of partitions should be less than the previous one. In that case, like I have found, I have partitioned the array in the minimum number of cuts.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
okay, in
yeah.
the base condition, I just have to modify the properties. It should be like
Okay. Yeah.
global. So globally, I will be like global partition. So initially, it is infinity, I think, int max. Or you can change
Okay.
instead of infinity, it should be n, right? Because every like each element is already palindrome. Okay,
Yeah.
and I will maintain a vector here. But I have to return, sir, like the complete. Okay, okay, complete. So if the number of partitions here, the number of partition here is less than the global partition, global
Okay.
part, and it is a palindrome, only that I will update my vector. My
Okay.
result should be vector.
Okay. So then you are going to update. So there can be there is, I guess there is some issue in the base condition. Like first of all, you are checking whether from the left to the right is a palindrome or not.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So this can occur. So if you like add an extra of number of partition. Okay. So there can be case like till now you have not reached your end, and then again you are checking whether the number of partition is less than the global or not. Like you have to only check when you have reached the end of the string and have tried this possibility. Okay, like
Yes,
you,
sir.
you are sure that in this way you are going to divide the string, and now you can check whether the answer is you are going getting for the partition is minimum or not. So like if you are adding it in the condition itself, then like it might result in some error because that's going to check it for the every point of time, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But still, like it won't be adding to the time complexity because it will be n cube, like in all the cases.
No, actually, see this condition like you have written. Okay, so but instead, okay, so yeah, okay, so you are saying this will not add to the time complexity. Okay, so we can go with this. Okay, so but say now what I am saying is I have like increased the size of my string. Like this is a recursive solution, so obviously the time complexity will be like huge than the normal solution. Okay, so if I have a string which has a length, which is a greater length, like huge number of like the like have some, let's say some around 1,000 length of string I have. So in that case, if I am going to run this solution, then this might give TLE, right? Because I'm going to like exceed the time limit.
Yes, yes.
So, is there a better solution for this? Like instead of recursion, can we think of a better solution?
Okay, sir. Okay, so in the recursive part, what I am doing, like I am finding all the possible partitions here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so suppose like I am partitioning it from here. So for that, I will be like checking on the right. So whether what is the minimum number of cuts in the right I'm having. Okay. So now when I'm like, okay, there is recursive subproblems. Okay, I have to basically store the results somehow.
So like you have to only like you don't have to store the actual place where it is partitioning. You have to just tell me the minimum number of cuts which you can
Okay, okay.
make in
I have
order
to tell
to.
minimum number of cuts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for that, okay. Okay, so in this like in the same way, when we are maintaining a DP for the like palindromic condition, so I will like maintain the DP for the partitions array also.
Okay.
DP partitions. Okay, so what DP of IJ says that what is the minimum number of cuts in this particular like I to J substring.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, so okay in the base condition.
So are you going to use a like 2D DP or a like a 1D DP for storing like your result? Because you are saying like you are storing from I till J.
Mhm.
So like what actually you are going to use for storing that?
It should be 2D DPI, one dimensional DP, correct? Because
Okay.
okay, just give me a time. Suppose I'm having A B C B E F. I'm having new number of cards 0 here, 1, 2.
So basically, you have like previously stored all the palindromes, like you told me in a 2D DP. So
Yes.
can you use that in order to like use that in to get your palindromes and then find the store the answer in this DP array? Can you think
Okay.
of some approach in that way?
What would be the minimum number of cards in that?
Just try to figure out like how you are going to use 1D DP in order to store your result. You already know your palindromic substrings, right? You
Yes.
have stored in your 2D DP. Now you just have to know from where you are going to cut your string.
Okay. 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 So okay, I know the condition. Like I know the substring which is palindromic or not. So in the same loop. Okay. So if my L2I is palindrome and L2I is palindrome and from I plus 1 to R is also palindrome. Correct. So in that case, I'm having, okay, initially cut is 0. Okay, so let me run on this example.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, initially I'm at this A. So what I see that this is a palindrome, but it is not a palindrome, correct? So what I have to do, like I can increase the partition or I can, okay. So the one case is like I can increase the partition here, correct? Like,
Yeah.
okay, like I have increased the partition. Or another case is it is not getting copied. So another case is like I will merge this element into this array and we'll check again. Like okay, I will only
Okay.
merge it if it's a palindrome, right?
Okay.
Okay, so and then I will find. Okay, yes, it will work, I think. So in the for condition, zero till I is palindrome should be L1. Okay, I'm at here. If my L2I is palindrome, okay. So in that case,
Just now, don't think of your previous solution because that uses recursion, and now you are using a DP. So just try to think like how your previous state is gonna help you now at this correct. Say I have like previously stored whatever the result was. Now I am at correct index. Now how the previous result is going to help me to store my this result, current result.
okay, I'm at this B. I see that the previous one maximum number of cut in the previous one. Okay. So I'm up here.
Like you earlier you were going in the right direction, like you are going to check the string whether that's a palindrome or not, and then you are going to write the answer. So like one thing you can observe here is you have to find the minimum. Okay, so what you can do is you can store whatever the result is till now, and in the
Yes.
next part what I can do is I can check whether the result I am getting now is less than the previous result or not. If that's the minimum result, then I am going to store that part only,
Okay,
right? So you got like you are using 1 TDP in order to get whether the current string can be a possible longest, like that can be a palindromic substring or not. And if that's the palindromic substring, then I am going to store the answer whichever the minimum is. Like whether this
yes.
palindromic substring will give me the minimum answer or the previous one. Okay, so that's how you are going to do that. I guess you have got the answer.
Everything's like I think it disconnected, right?
Yeah, I
So
guess so.
no issues, no issues. He'll be back. I'll ask him to rejoin. No issue.
Yeah.
So I can see that in this question he is performing particularly better than the previous one, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, actually, like he was able to think of, like he was able to go in that direction, but he was not able to fully grasp that approach.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think that's the whole point, right? Like you practice and you know tend to get that thing. Like if you're under pressure of time, how you can manage
yeah,
things and think during that time. So
yeah.
I've asked him
That's
to rejoin. He
okay.
rejoined, and yeah, so I got a reply.
Okay.
So the second question is complete, right? We can jump on to the
Yeah.
next. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Geeks watching us, really sorry about that. Sometimes these things happen, and it's really not in our control. Uh, but please bear with us. I can see that 64 people are still live, right? So I really appreciate that. Mm. You might be trying to reconnect again or something on the Wi-Fi. Light issues
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah. They can.
Yes. Okay, but you can go through some comments still. Thank you, Mukul, for understanding. You can go through comments. Maybe somebody can ask few questions if they want to, particularly from Pritesh. Like till the time he's
Yeah.
joining, you can ask few questions.
Yes.
We'll wait for few. Yeah. But I would advise to put DSA related questions like something around like DSA preparation. So we have a minute. Chirag is saying that he'll join again in a minute. Till then,
Okay.
let's go to the comments and take up few questions and just engage. I think
Yeah.
that is fine. So chat में geeks please थोड़ा सा if you can ask few questions if you have. Mm, okay. So I can see few questions. Gaurav is asking, how long would one recommend to study for interview prep from scratch? And Chirag is here. Chirag is here. But we okay. Just a moment. Hi Chirag. That's okay.
Hello, sir. Sorry, sir.
Chirag, as you were, trying to reconnect, I took up one question from the comment. If it's okay with you, please throw some light on this question, and then please we can continue because I already pinned it in the banner.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
So it depends. Like for the interview preparation, like it depends. What are your strong points? What are your weak points? Obviously, like someone can understand a topic in 2 hours, and other can't stand that in that part. So, and obviously, the more problems you are gonna practice, the more easily you are gonna get the new problems easily. So it's like you can start with DSA. You can like if you are a beginner, then you obviously need a little more time than the experienced one. So just go through the basics and try the problems. In the like you are not gonna obviously see the change in your problem solving skills in a day or two. You have to spend like a month or a two in order to just get used to the problems. So this is going to be the minimum. And for the interview preparation, like if you have done previously problems, then only problem solving for like 3 months and a half or four, that's gonna give you like a better scenario of the things.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Pritish. And Chirag, that's completely fine. Calm down. That's completely okay because such things happen. It's not
Yeah.
in your hand or in our hand. So just calm down and let's proceed. Okay, Chirag, you ready?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. Please, Pritish, you can take the lead now.
Yeah. Okay. So if you please share your screen, Chirag, like if it's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. So is it sharing?
Yeah, yeah, it's visible. So, like we were discussing about like how you can do that. So, were you able to get that part, or like you were disconnected before that?
Yes, sir. I was disconnected.
Okay, okay. So no issues. So what I said was like what you can do is you can like store the answer of the previous part. You just got that right. If you are going to check for the string, like you are going to check whether the current string is palindrome or not. Now one thing more you can add is like you are going to store if the current string is palindrome, then you have to like put a cut in the next part. Now what you
Yes.
can do is you can check for the next thing like this current string whether this current string is a palindrome or not. Okay, so if this is a palindrome, then obviously you are going to store the minimum cut from the previous result. See, there can be possible. Let's say I have a string of 4 times a. So you can see every substring is going to be a palindrome, right? So there can be A, there can be AA, and there can be triple A and then 4 times A. So at each point of time, you are going to check whether the previous answer was the minimal or not. Okay, that's why DP is obviously like you are going to get the previous answers and then you are going to calculate that. So
Yes, sir.
this problem was a like little variation. Like if I just increase the constraints, then back like the recursion, the backtracking won't work here, right? So the minimal answer, like you can find the minimal answer by getting to the previous answer and then finding out the minimal.
Yes, sir.
So so you got it now, or like is there any doubt?
No, sir. Like I have got it.
Yeah. So this is it basically. So like if you have any questions for me, like you can ask.
Not as such, sir.
Okay. So man, like great man. So I like to add some like points to your this session. So what actually you were doing, like you were able to understand the question, that's great, and like you were able to get the hint, that's a plus point. Like whenever I am saying you like just go in that direction, you are able to get that. But like there is a problem. You were like getting stuck at your one like your in only in one direction. Like in the first problem, what you did was you were keep pushing on like we can maintain a Boolean array. Yeah,
Yes,
right.
sir.
So just try to widen your approach. Like I told you, you were going in the right direction earlier, and so like you were going right, but there was some issue in the approach. So like you got that, but you took a little time. So that's okay. So you have to like a little practice more to get that part done. And like later on for the second problem, like I observed, you were able to like make me understand the solution like in a very nice way. So that's great, man. So yeah, so just practice a lot more so that you can just get the solutions on time and like get the hint in that particular direction only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so great, man. So that's it.
Okay, okay. So thank you, Pritish, for the feedback. And Chirag, particularly to you, I want to talk and tell you that you did great, man. Because it's all about pushing your limitation. You know,
Yeah.
you are pushing yourself, and it's clear that you did your best and you were nervous. You're still nervous, but I am telling you that you did good.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Pritish, am I saying wrong? It's a process,
No,
right?
no,
It's a journey.
definitely. Like I said earlier, like he was able to get that approach in in a very short time. So like when you are in an interview, it's difficult to get that, and when you are getting, you must be confident on yourself. So
Plus,
great,
there's
man.
also a factor. See, plus this is also a factor. We're live and so many people watching us. That's
Yeah,
also, that is a
that
real factor.
yeah, yeah.
So Chirag, you did really good, and I wish you good luck. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah, and there are many companies which come your way on campus and off campus as well. You definitely bag a good one, and once you bag a good one, come on our webinar again to share the interview experience.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so just relax and good luck to you, man. Okay,
Okay, sir. Thank you,
and
sir.
thank you for going through this and taking this up.
So
Okay, Chirag. Bye, bye, Pritesh. Thanks, man.
thanks, Akshay, thanks.
Bye,
Okay.
bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, guys. So that was it. I hope you liked the session. And for the skill dependent days, we are having a special webinar each on every day at 7 p.m. So tomorrow it's about how to journey to become grandmaster at Code Forces. So a grandmaster at Code Forces, Joseph sir has been invited, and day after tomorrow, introduction to DSA, how to start with DSA, and the last day is about system design. So join us and stay safe, get vaccinated, take care, and uh, and that's it. I'll come back again tomorrow and see you then.